Alrighty, people, what is happening? How we living? How we feeling? It's a great day to talk football.
Great day to be black. Huh?
Is it? Okay. I guess every day is a great day, right? What's special about this day?
Black History Month. Tell me something that you learned about Black History Month today.
I haven't learned anything about Black history today. Enlighten me.
Maybe that's the problem.
I'm the problem. What's up, Daniel Macy? Welcome in. 79 days until the NFL draft. Styles is in the building. We've got Ryan here. DT, what's up, man? Alex says feeling good because Baker's done it with a different coordinator every year. Bad because it's Patrick Mahomes, and that's definite every year. What's up, Alex? Welcome in. What's up, Chad? WG's in the building. Silver is in the building. We've got Russ in the building. What's up, Charlie? What's up, Brizzleton? Jacob's here. What's up? It's Gorilla says, any team rebuilds tonight? Yes, we will be doing. We have one right now in the books. We'll have to wait to hear back from Free Slinger because he bought an offline review. We'll have to wait back from him. But we do have Duke 98. Who's going to get their team reviewed. We're also going to reply to a trade question from Bose. But yeah, if you want your team reviewed, today's a great day to sign up because the queue is very open. So you can either become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND, or you can purchase one a la carte. I'll put both of those links in the chat. Obviously, no obligation, of course. What's up, Dominic? What's up, Jordan? George, Brandon, J-Rod, Scribbles, Gaden, Silver Space. What's up, Theo? Is Elijah Moore this year's Darnell Mooney? No, I think he's probably this year's Elijah Moore.
I miss you, Elijah.
It is what it is at this point with
Elijah.
I miss you. We do have a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, I know we can get there. Be a friend. Smash that like button as today's streams begin. Now, I just want to quickly begin the stream by answering this question from Bose. He did submit a trade question on the Flocks Fantasy website, so I want to make sure we get to that first because it doesn't take long, and you know those questions are easy to reply to. But he says not sure if this is enough to trade down, and essentially he's asking if he should send a 104 and a second in 2025 for the 108, the 110. I wonder if we have some more information on where those second round picks are. Let me see. The second he's sending away is the 204, and he's receiving the 208. So that's the 104 and the 204 for the 208, the 108, and the 110. And I would say my counter to that would be removing those second round picks and making it the 108 and the 110. That feels like a better medium ground for me. I don't think you need to do the pick swap as well. This feels more than fair to do the 104 to the 108 and the 110 in my opinion. So that's where I would settle on it.
Yeah, I'm happy either way, to be honest. I'm just having a look at your team here. 104 can be a really good running back. I mean, so can the 107 and the 110 if I'm not mistaken. So either way, I'm okay with this trade, whether you take it or not.
All right, we are doing a startup draft, and if people want to get into today's mock, how can they go about doing so, Badaki?
Yeah, join our Discord. That link is in the description. I'll put that link in the chat here for the boys and girls. Join our Discord, okay? Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs, then go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft, whether you are watching now or later, okay? It is first come, first serve. I think I said that already. And let's just have fun tonight.
Yeah.
And I'll send that link out here.
It's Black History Month, bro. Every day I'm learning something new and having fun.
You know, I would like a fun fact from you every single day in the month of February about Black history.
Sure.
I'll bring a fact with you.
Why don't you, since you're obviously representing, why don't you bring the facts?
Because I think it's the opposite. I think like maybe the white people need to know what happened in the Black history.
Educate us.
No, you need to educate. That's the problem. You need to educate yourself.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. We are completely full. 12-team Superflex. Tight end premium is what we'll do here. 12-team Superflex. Tight end premium. And we'll do a third-round reversal as well. Let's get that started here. You can draft, obviously, any rookie that you like. So keep that in mind. Here we go. Starting the draft in 3,
Here we
2,
go.
1. Jay Ganja says, what would it take for you to move off the 101? Team is coming off a winning championship this year. I mean, I did actually make a video not too dissimilar to that question. And that video came out 3 videos ago. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's basically talking about what every pick is worth. I'll put that in the chat. But I actually show you some real trades where people traded away the 101. So definitely go check out that video for sure. But you want a haul, right? I mean, if you're a contending roster, you know, ideally you want a solidified player plus something else in the future at minimum. But it's going to depend on every league. It's going to depend on how everyone values it. What would you trade Jahmyr Gibbs for? What would you trade Bijan Robinson for? That's what you should trade the 101 for, right? That's the way I view it personally.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've been trying to get rid of the 101 in a league right now in talks with somebody. So
yeah,
hopefully I can get that deal done and I can show you.
I love it. Love it. Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels come off the board here. 2 quarterbacks, obviously no surprise in a super flex league. Now Key is on the clock. We're just checking in here. Gaten says, would y'all trade London for Ladd and Terry with the chance of the Chargers getting another wide receiver? I think it depends on how big the starting lineup is. You know, if it's a starting lineup that's like a start 10, probably, but if it's start 8, probably not. But overall, I think the Ladd and Terry side is probably more value in most leagues. Badaki does have the 101 in Delta. That's right. He's wanting to make some moves here. All right, so Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts also went off the board. Badaki, you're now on the clock. We've had 4 straight quarterbacks. Are you going to continue that trend?
Yeah, well.
Yes, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Which I like a lot. I think Joe Burrow is just as deserving of being there in the top 3 as any other player. I mean, he finished 3rd in points per game this year anyway. So he has just as much of a case to be made there as anyone else. Burrow's gone. Hurts is gone. I personally see a little teardrop at the quarterback position here, and I think the value is more at wide receiver running back. So with Chase and Jefferson gone, it's close. I'll grab CD here.
Okay, CeeDee Lamb off the board. So a nice little run of wide receivers there.
Yeah, it's just at this point, I just feel like there's such a huge tier of quarterbacks that I'm fine with. You know, like if you look at the guys available right now, you know, your Mahomes, Herbert, Strouds, Caleb, Kyler, Knicks, May. It's just this huge tier of guys, and I think there's a bigger tier of wide receivers and running backs when I look at the board.
That makes sense.
Ryan says, just traded the 101 for Justin Tucker in the 306. So there you go. That's the 101's value.
That is a huge trade.
Justin Tucker, just, you know, a great stand-up guy, really representative of everything, you know, that you want, you know, your kids to grow up to be. It's allegations. It's just allegations. We don't know.
Innocent until proven guilty, they say.
Yeah, that is what they say. As Nico Collins does come off the board there. So we have Gibbs, we have Bijan, Puka, Marvin, Amon-Ra, Nico, all coming off the board. I am now on the clock here. And there's a couple ways I could go about this pick. But I think there's a pretty huge value, glaring value on the board, actually. That's Brock Bowers. I'll take Brock Bowers at the 205. Tight end premium league, like we mentioned. There's only a couple tight ends I feel comfortable drafting early. Outside, I'll pump the position entirely. So, yeah, I think Bowers is worthy of being in the first round, even if you could find a way to put him in there for sure.
Yeah, no question. There goes Justin Herbert there. And no matter what here, ooh.
That's who I was thinking, either Brian Thomas or Brock Bowers.
I was getting excited there for a second.
It was going to be one of those two guys for me. The premium put me towards the Bauer side.
And Jameer went. Bijan went already. Okay, I'll take Drizzy. I'll get my quarterbacks here then.
Drake May, yeah, I like that pick a lot. I think he makes a ton of sense there. Charlie says, what's CD's value today, Zach? I feel like no one talks about him. I think that no one talks about him because he didn't have the same year he had the year before, but he's just as valuable. He should be a tier 1 guy, with the Jeffersons and the Chases. But, of course, understandably so. He has a down year. Dak Prescott gets injured, and, that offense just was not firing on all cylinders. But, yeah, I think he's just as valuable as the Chase and Jeffersons. The reason no one's talking about him is because he's probably a better buy than anything. Like, Jefferson and Chase are going to be harder to buy than him, but he's probably a pretty good buy.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's a lot of swept under the rug. I feel like the whole Cowboys, players are getting swept under the rug because of what happened. Dak didn't finish the year. CD was also in and out. They didn't have a running back there, so I think that can definitely change coming into this year, no doubt.
Yeah.
You see our first rookie off the board as well.
209, first rookie comes off the board in Ashton Jeanty. Those were the 3 players I was really heavily considering at the 205 was Bowers, Thomas, Jeanty, and makes a ton of sense. Right after that, Devon Achane. I mean, that's from a pure value perspective, that's a little surprising to me to see Achane and Jeanty back to back. I think Jeanty is in a different tier for sure for me. So I mean, that's just the way that a startup draft sometimes pans out, though. That's just the way the board falls at certain times.
Yeah.
So yeah. Brandon says, who would you say is a non-rookie that will have the biggest jump in value before the start of the next season? A non-rookie. Probably Dak Prescott in Superflex leagues. It's pretty rare that a non-rookie has a huge jump, especially if they don't have some.
I think it's going to be like the Waddles or the Ayuks, the Rices, because
Ayuk,
if Devo's gone, Ayuk jumps depending on his timeline. If Tyreek's gone, the Waddle's going to jump depending on that timeline.
Yeah.
And same could be said with Rice. If hypothetically the suspension is done early and significant, people would rather know and take the chances with him in an early round than letting him fall because of knowing how he is or how that situation is.
So we did see McBride come off the board and Drake London. After that, we saw Caleb Williams at the 301. Let's see here. I do like the Chase Brian Thomas start as well from Sizzle at the 106. It's a really nice start. It's a great play. I mean, it's funny because a lot of the teams who have Brian Thomas got him at a discount in rookie drafts. Remember, he was going 108, 109. For some reason, before the draft, everyone was all about it. And then after the draft, he went to the Jags. They had a clear need. And for some reason, people fell off Brian Thomas. We didn't understand it, but it happened. I'll take Bo Nix here. I think he's worthy of being drafted right where Mahomes and Herbert were. So I think I'm getting a round discount on him there. Personally, I'll take him off the board there at the 305. 3 different positions to start my draft here in this Superflex League. Very happy with the start we got there.
Jackson Smith and Jigba there.
Styles says CMC could be a name that could rise a lot. Yeah, I could see that. T-Law or Ayuk, I can definitely see that for sure. What's up, Keegs? Says, do you envision Jeanty breakout in year 1 as a top 5 running back? I actually re-recorded my rookie running back rankings today, just before we went live. Cool new tools that I'm going to use in that will release not tomorrow, but the day after. And very excited for you guys to watch that. But I don't think people truly realize how good Ashton Jeanty was this year. Like, seriously. I don't think they realize historically how good his season was, how good the analytics are. When you purely talk about turning lemons into lemonade, and Badaki and I have been actually working on this project, I actually am creating an all lemons to lemonade team. You guys remember, like all NBA first team defense, all NBA first team, whatever. I'm creating an all lemons to lemonade team, and I'm going to do it every year now for this class. And let me just say, what Ashton Jeanty did this year, and even last year, if you look, as far as making people miss, forcing missed tackles, creating more with what you've been given, is historically, we've never seen something like this. You can go back and look at Saquon's year at Penn State. You can go back and look at Jonathan Taylor's year at Wisconsin. You can go back and look at all these historical seasons, Melvin Gordon. You just don't see this happen, especially not when someone has over 300 attempts. His yard to contact per attempt, his missed tackles forced per attempt is out of this world, historically great. And I don't think people are, like, when Bijan Robinson was coming out, we all knew he was good the year before. And granted, Jeanty was my RB1 for this year as well. But it wasn't like this solidified agreement in the entire community where it's like, holy shit, Bijan's a generational player. You know what I mean? Like, that's what everyone thought about Bijan. But Jeanty was like, it could be Jeanty, could be Hampton, could be Ollie Gordon at that time, some people thought, right? And he goes out there, and he should have won the Heisman. Or most years he would have won the Heisman. And he has this historically great season analytically. And now people are questioning if he's a good prospect because he played in the Mountain West. It's one of the most mind-blowing things I've ever seen. I'm so excited for that video to come out in a couple of days. But, yeah, I think he's an historically great player. Like, he will go down as one of the best college seasons ever. Probably, definitely top 5, if not top 3 for a running back of all time.
Yeah, and I think I get it. Like playing in the Mountain West, or just playing in any division, that can just be for any position, running back, quarterback. We've seen quarterbacks come out of these small division schools, and we're saying there's no way they're going to be a top quarterback. I mean, I think perfect example is what Josh Allen. What did he come out with? It's like Wyoming, something like that.
He came from Wyoming, yeah. And
it's just like it wasn't that big of a school. Didn't really understand. People love to see helmet scouting, essentially, right? Yeah. Oh, where'd they go? Ohio State? Did they go to Alabama? It's like, well, anything can happen with any of these prospects depending on their situation.
Yeah, big time, 100%. I'm just trying to keep up with the board here. We saw Kyler Murray go in at the 3.9, which is a great discount, I think. We saw Jordan Love come off the board at 3.12, also a very good discount in my opinion. AJ Brown at the 4.02, another very discounted player. And yeah, you're on the clock here. You've got Burrow and May. Rashee Rice is your first wide receiver. What are you thinking here with your next pick?
Yeah, I think I might go with a rookie here.
As he's making his pick, that video will be out soon for you guys, by the way. Updated running back rankings from the rookie class. I finished wave 2 of our scouting, and V2 of our rookie report comes out on Monday. I'm excited for you guys to see that, but yeah. So you went Amarion Hampton there at the 4.05. There goes Baker Mayfield off the board. And if K Legacy lets me... Okay, perfect. Awesome. I wasn't sure exactly what my quarterback room would look like, considering I started without 2 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds. But we're going to go ahead and grab our quarterback 14 at the 4.08. And that is Michael Penix Jr. Welcome to the squad, Michael Penix. What does that make him off the board? Quarterback, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 off the board. I think Penix will be a big riser in startup drafts from current, where he is right now, 4th, 5th round, to 2026. I think he'll be a big riser in where he's drafted, if that makes sense. What's up, Chef? Welcome in.
How are you feeling, brother?
Justin says, shout out to Zach and Badaki. The playbook helped me move off of Chase Burrow stack for Daniel's neighbors in the 104. Appreciate you, my friend.
Hey, that's huge.
And that was a 1 quarterback league, if I remember correctly.
Awesome, man.
This is super flex. Yes. Do I trade the 105 and Lad for CD? That's pretty good value for CD Lamb, I'd say. Luther Burden to Washington and Hampton to the Raiders. Who do you like more? I would say Burden to Washington. I just think he'd be a perfect fit. But it depends. It depends on a lot of different factors. Jacob says, what team do you guys think Tet actually goes to in the draft? I mean, we've talked about this pretty much the entire offseason, but if you actually look at the top 15 of the draft this year, there's very few teams that you get excited about a player landing it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so let's think realistically. I think everyone loves the Patriots at 4. After that, I guess people could talk themselves into Carolina because of Bryce Young. He needs a weapon. But you really have to wait until pick 12 before you get excited. Right? Like, realistically, look at all these options. Everyone thinks he's going top 10.
Even then, it's not like you're not excited right now. Like, sure, if he goes outside the top 12, where's he going? He's not going to Atlanta. He goes to Carolina. He goes to Arizona at 16.
Yeah.
He's behind Marvin, technically. He goes to Seattle. DK and JSN there, you know?
Yeah, it's you ask a lot of questions for sure, because it's not like last year where it's like, you could easily place these players on these teams and mock drafts and get excited about it. You do have a lot of question marks still when you're going through the process.
I don't think
Garrett Wilson already went. Higgins already went. Bucky already went. Trying to think of my next available player. Is DJ Moore still available?
Nope. He's not.
Yes, he is.
No,
Welcome
he's not.
to the squad, DJ Moore, my wide receiver 2 in the 5th round. We'd love to see that. Let's go ahead and fix this so people can see as well. Having Penix over Purdy is wild. Okay. Jay Moore says, would you trade JSN and the 203 for CD? Yeah. Yes. I mean, this is only telling me that CD Lamb is like the biggest buy low in Dynasty right now. Every time we're hearing a trade, would you do this trade for CD? Would you do that trade for CD? Yeah, absolutely. I agree, Styles. I do think it's a really good season where, if you're not in the top 4 or so or 5, you can really go positional and kind of determine the draft. At the 104, for example, if you go Chase and then someone goes Jefferson at the 106, and I think you can really determine the way a startup goes by the back end of the draft. It's almost like you're playing chicken with each other, but yeah. What's up, Mark? He says, love the content. How can you review my league if I'm on CBS? I'm a Mother Flocker member. So basically you just submit screenshots. That's the only way. CBS doesn't really allow any of their how do I say it? Like they don't give public access like all these other apps. They don't give public access. So, we can't really access a lot of their stuff publicly. But you can just submit screenshots and then we can give you a review that way. We've had plenty of people do that. With MFL, at least, they have the ID on KTC we can use, but yeah, we can absolutely do it via screenshots. We've done that plenty of times and we've still been able to give some great ideas. So that would be the way I would say to do it. Screenshots through your upload. Or what some people have done in the past, and I would not suggest to do this because it's a lot of time.
It's a lot of effort.
You can recreate your league in Sleeper, which again, I would never suggest you to do, but yeah, that's another option for you.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, but that would be the highly recommended way to do it, but we wouldn't force you to do that because that is a lot of work to do.
Style says, be right back. I'm going to go send offers for CD. I mean, honestly, it feels like he's somehow a tradable asset right now. Or person you can trade for. So we had Burden come off the board. We had Genty. We had McMillan. We had Hampton. That's all the rookies, right? Just keeping track on mine.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
So after DJ Moore, we had Josh Jacobs. We had Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave, Zay Flowers, Kyron Williams, James Cook, Xavier Worthy. These running backs are going to start to be pretty good values as well on the board. which you like to see. This is a good question from Jack. He says, which side in Superflex, Bowers or the 103 and the 104 in a rookie draft, Superflex rookie draft?
I mean, it is a great question. I think there's a lot of context behind it that is needed. You know, if you are, I mean, look, ultimately, I think I still want Brock Bowers, but I think there's just a lot of context. Like, if I'm just looking at that straight up, give me Brock Bowers. But
yeah,
what
if there's no premium? What if there's no premium in this league and it's half PPR? Does that change anything?
Yeah, I think it definitely does.
Yeah, I think no PPR. Premium, half PPR, maybe that changes. But if it's like a, full PPR or even any sort of premium, I'll go Bowers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
KPB says, I think Tet will be guys someone will move up for in the NFL draft, given the scarcity of high impact players at wide receiver. Could be. I mean, my only combat to that, and I hear you, KPB, is at least from everything I've heard from people in the draft community that I trust and I watch on a daily basis, this is not really a draft where people are probably moving up in. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I've heard consistently. Badaki is like, probably not a draft people are going to be moving up in or willing to pay to move up in,
Not at all. I think, like, if you are moving up, you're probably moving up for a quarterback. Like, for example, the only way, like, I'm just using this as because that's my team, but like the Giants, if they really want Shador and they know Tennessee doesn't really care if they take Shador or Cam, maybe they're just going to go up and pay to secure Shador. But if not, there's no point of moving. But yeah, I don't know.
All right, the next guy I'm going to draft here, I have ranked right alongside of Jalen Waddle. In fact, I have him ranked just ahead of Waddle, which is, I might need to reassess that, but that's how I feel. And I'm going to take Ayuk here. I think he fell far enough already. Got the long-term extension. Yes, ACL, but he tore his ACL earlier in the season. I do think he'll be an important part of that Niners offense this year, or they can trade him. I mean, they're going to have to make something. They're going to have to move someone. They can't pay everyone. Purdy's going to need a deal soon. They've already got Debo on the big deal, Ayuk on the big deal, CMC was extended, Kittle on a big deal. They've got to move someone.
This Purdy needs to be moved, needs to get paid this year.
No, well, this is the year that they can extend him. Otherwise, I believe he's a free agent next offseason if they don't, which they can franchise tag him. Maybe that's the way they go.
I was going to say, they can franchise tag.
If they franchise him, it's going to be a very hefty tag. It might be 60 a year to franchise, if not more. I think you might actually have to pay more. I think it might be 70 soon. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is his last year on that rookie contract, and then he's a free agent in 26.
Yeah.
So they'll probably get something done maybe after the trade deadline, if they are going to trade Debo, Ayuk, or Kittle. Yeah. Or really just Debo or Kittle, right?
Maddie said, what's the price to move from Hampton to Genty? Well, you can see here they were about 2 rounds apart. What would you pay to move from the 405 to the second round? And Genty went late. Typically, he's going 204 to 206. So I actually think he went late here compared to where he normally goes. What would you pay? What's the price you would pay to move up 2.5 rounds, basically? And Hampton doesn't always go that high either. So it might even be 3.5 rounds. I think probably you're going to have to pay 2 firsts. Is that worth it to you? Does it make sense for your roster?
In a startup or in a rookie draft?
In a rookie draft. You never pay 2 firsts in a startup.
Yeah,
he's not even going in the first.
Just wanted to clarify, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to pay a premium to get Ashton, which is why I think we've been wanting 2 first plus for the 101, not even for Marion, just in general. If you have like the 101 trying to sell it away, that's the type of price I would want.
Chase Brown comes off the board here. Yeah, let's see how the rest of this draft is gonna go. I have some ideas for my next pick. Don't know exactly where I'm gonna go, but certainly have some ideas. Certainly. Dak already went right ages ago. Yeah, at the 407.
Yeah, 407.
I'm wondering if this guy has already been drafted or not. Oh. Interesting. I have an idea. Will I be able to execute it? We'll find out, but I have an idea. Okay, that was idea number 1. Idea number 2 is Chuba Hubbard. Am I tripping? He's not. He's available, right? Yeah, he's available.
He is available.
Take him as my RB1 there.
Wide receivers, dude. I feel like they're just gone.
Let's see. My mouse is dead. Give me a second.
Derrick Henry, Jameson Williams there. Is Terry off the board? Yeah, Terry's off the board. You know what? I'm going to let y'all decide. I'm going to go with... This may feel a little bit early, but I feel like it's a huge drop-off after that. So let's go TJ.
It's not early at all. In fact, that's a huge discount in a tight end premium to get Hawkinson at the 708.
Tyreek.
I actually don't have Hawkinson and Laporta ranked very far apart at all. I actually think I have Hawkinson higher, if I'm not mistaken, which I might need to reassess. But for you to get Hawkinson 2.5 rounds later, that's a huge discount.
Yeah, it's a big fall off after that. I think we've kind of been saying that, I mean, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, I feel like is the fall off. And then, in my eyes, the Sam Laporta, the way kind of this board has fallen, has fallen. Sam Laporta just in that middle range, like in La La Land, and then it's TJ, and then there's no other tight end until probably the 10th round. You probably want to take him, depending on where they start going.
Huge value on Tua there. Jeez Louise. Yeah, Jaden Reed's fallen far, and I think rightfully so. That second half of the season is hard to not look at. Brandon says, how high does Chase Brown go if Bengals wouldn't add a running back? I don't think he goes much higher than like the 6th round, because if Kyron Williams is a 5th round pick and Jacobs is a 5th round pick, Chase, with his lack of like pedigree as a prospect and capital, I don't think he goes higher than the 6th round anyway.
I guess the question is, who are you taking? I'm just using Keetrey Cut as an example. Chase Brown, RB12. They don't draft a running back. Are you taking him over Kenneth Walker? Over Josh Jacobs?
No.
Over James Cook?
No.
Okay. So he's right where he would be then.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's pretty properly valued. As Tyler Warren comes off the board, yeah, those tight ends looking like a value right now. In fact, I'm frustrated that I took Bowers. I took Bowers. I can't be upset. I took Bowers. I think Bowers was a value. Travis Hunter, I was going to draft him next, so well done to Team 1. But if I could have made that Brian Thomas, that's who I was thinking of. And then got a Hawkinson here. Maybe I like that team a little bit better, to be honest. I'm not sure. What are we doing with Olave? We've been buying Olave, personally. I mean, we see a lot of value 100%. With him right now. And yeah, I just think he's a very easy player to go out and buy.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if you guys have been with us since last year, I was really off Chris Olave because of the situation. I mean, he was going late second, that 2-3 turn. I didn't like that value. I thought it was too high for all the question marks outside of the injuries. It wasn't even because he was injured. It was because of his situation. New head coach is going to be coming in. What does that quarterback room look like? If it is Derek Carr, that's okay, because we know that's not going to be the long-term answer. It was never on talent. It was a situation there.
Yeah,
Sam Darnold off the board.
definitely some question marks around him for sure. Styles brought up a great question. He says, "What are your thoughts on Goff with Ben Johnson gone?" I do think it's a very good question because
I mean,
we can't
I am
undervalue
concerned.
what Ben Johnson brought to the table, but there are still all those weapons around him. Like you have to be a very, very bad offensive coordinator to not figure out a good offense with Gibbs, Monty, Jameson, Amon-Ra, Laporta. So he might have extracted the most out of it, but I don't think there'll be a huge fall from grace.
I completely agree, and I would say this: I am concerned about it. But what really gave me the peace of mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure they hired in-house. They just
I
elevated.
believe so. I believe
They
did
elevated the
in-house
offensive
hire.
coordinator, and if that wasn't the case, I would be more concerned than I would actually be, because essentially, think about it: if the guy was hired, I don't know his name, but the way I'm seeing it, was he an assistant coach? Was he, you know, drawing up these plays with Ben? And if that was the case, then he knows how to operate this offense. He knows how to use this play calling. Ben Johnson was also a head coach candidate the year before. So maybe there was some conversations and talks about, okay, this is how I would normally run the offense,
So-
giving him and gracing him.
Actually, it's John Morton from Denver. I just looked it up on Google, which
Okay, never
is
mind
not
then.
an in-house hire, but he was a passing game coordinator for Denver last year. And obviously, Nick's was very successful, right? So that's
Yeah,
good news.
that's fair. That is good news.
But
It's still more concerning than to me, because like for all the things that I said, now this guy's bringing his own tendencies. This guy's going to bring in his obviously his own play calling.
yeah,
And does he come in and adapt all these players to him, or is he adapting to them with the success they
hopefully
had?
he can do a combination of both. I'm gonna take a rookie wide receiver I fell in love with in the second round of scouting. I think he goes first round in the NFL draft. I'm gonna take Matthew Golden. And I get him as my fourth receiver in the 8th round. I'm really loving this team. Who wants to make a real league? I'm kidding. I'm joking. But I like this team.
How did you do in that $10 quickie league?
Well, if you remember, I drafted CMC first, and then I built an absolute monster, but CMC shit the bed. I had like 4 players who
I just know that like
went
we had
down
that
with like
league.
an IR.
I just know that we got that made that league because you loved your team.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if you won or not, because I know you won a lot of leagues this year.
No, I
know
didn't
if
win
you
that
won
one.
that one.
I'm pretending like that one didn't exist because all my players got injured.
Finally.
Where do you think Cooper Kupp goes? It's a good question. I think he could go anywhere. I mean, the Commanders make sense as a team who needs a number 2 and they're competing. But the Rams are going to have to eat that contract. No one's going to pay him. I think he's like due like $50 million over 2 years. I could be wrong. But a team that needs a number 2 definitely and competing, like the Bills, could make sense, I think, if they want to add him to their roster. The Texans, I could see him replace Stephon Diggs in that offense. And they've shown that they're not afraid to trade for a veteran wide receiver, right? We've seen that already with Stephon Diggs. I mean, you could always throw the Chiefs out there. It's always a pipe dream. I don't know that that's realistic, to be honest with you. Shoot, the Eagles could go and have fun with it, right? They're always looking to add a third wide receiver in their offense for some reason, even though they throw the ball fewer than pretty much anyone else in the league. Like I said, Washington could make sense. If Godwin is really not going to be back next year, the Bucks could make sense. A lot of landing spots I could sell myself on. I'm going to go ahead and grab Alvin Kamara here. I'll grab Alvin Kamara here in the 9th round as my RB2. Monty was another name I was really monitoring as the draft continued onwards. I wanted one of those 2 names in round 5, and I feel good. Feel good about the little haul we got here so far.
A little haul.
Golden over McMillan. Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. Jalen McMillan is my guy, but I'm projecting Matthew Golden to go in the first round. So
what about Royals?
I love Royals too.
You would have Royals over Golden, if I'm not mistaken.
I do have Royals over Golden right now in my rankings, but the way it's currently being projected from draft capital perspective, that will probably change. As we know, the ultimate, we go through our scouting process, we watch film, we look at analytics, we dive into the complete profile. But the last part of those rankings to really be solidified is draft capital. So currently I'm projecting Golden to go round 1, and Royals I think could, but the hype isn't there yet. But he had nothing but positive results from the Senior Bowl. If you've heard much about him, I don't know, but all I've heard is very positive results from Jalen Royals. So yeah.
Good to know.
Yes, Brandon actually won the Quickie League. Yeah, that's right. What's up, Paul? He says, "Hey guys. Started my first ever Dynasty League today, and I'm going to be doing a slow draft. Do you guys have any big picture advice going in? I'm at the 1-8. Oh, my friend. I mean, watch the last 3 years of our channel. No, I mean, look, how much can you say? I just think if it's super flex, see how the board is falling, and if positional players are at whichever way the board falls, I go the opposite typically. So if 7 quarterbacks are off the board and I'm at the 108, all right, welcome Jamar Chase. If I'm at the 108 and only 2 quarterbacks have gone, that means I get an Allen or a Daniels or a Lamar late. So whichever way the board goes, you go the opposite. And why don't we go ahead as a chat and just give Paul some tips as we go along. I'd also watch a bunch of startup drafts as well online. From people. That's a good way to gain advice as well.
I think the biggest thing that I would say is whoever rankings you are following, whether it's ours or another content creator that you do not saying that you should follow it to a T, but just stay within the parameters, because you don't want to be in the first the 108 and then you say, but I really love Patrick Mahomes, knowing that he can come back to you at the 2-5. Just you get what I'm saying. Just follow it to its, not to a T, but just be a little bit more open to things.
It's a good guide, no doubt about it. Shakira, I thought was a really good value there. I like that pick a lot. Yeah, Cam Ward ends up being a great value at the 7-3. We also had Shador at the 7-1. Just keeping track of all these players here.
It's actually crazy how sad these running backs, these tight ends are.
Bro, I was gonna draft Cam Scatterby with my next pick. I thought that would have been the perfect fit for my team. I have him as my RB6 now after wave 2. I
know, really, making graphics today. I saw a big jump. I think he was, and I looked back at it, I think he was your RB10 or 12.
Last time I did an update, he was my RB10.
Yeah.
So he's moved up 4 spots. I'm constantly watching more film, and he had another game in the playoffs to watch. Had a couple more games on the All-22 that popped up that I was able to look at. Also, there's a name that I won't talk about yet, but that fell pretty far after watching more film. But Tyrone Tracy, wow.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, man, these wide receivers just are just gone in it. Maybe I'll go with the next best rookie then.
Yeah, that was my comp for Scatterbo too, was David Montgomery. That was my exact scout as well, or my exact comp as well. So I like it. Jack Besh comes off the board. I actually put a video out on Twitter
about Big Besh.
know about Cam Scataboo.
Oh,
I
right.
couldn't help but see David Montgomery. Let me see if I can find that for people.
Yeah, freaking.
Yes. Okay. I'll send this link in the chat. But if you guys watch this, I just show you a couple clips from an all-22 game. And if you watch it, I can't help but see David Montgomery myself. I'll put that there in the chat.
Genuine question. When was the last time a white running back was taken like the top 3 rounds?
CMC.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Outside of CMC.
We don't have much to hang our hat on, bro. You know, I know it's Black History Month, but
that's not even like a dig. It's just a genuine question. I knew CMC was first in 2018, 2017. Has there Austin Eckler wasn't he was undrafted.
I don't think Austin's white.
He's not even white. I think he's half white.
Yeah.
That was another white running back.
There's not many of us out there.
There's not many of us.
Oh shoot, I'm on the clock. I didn't even realize.
There's not many of us. God.
Can I get Gino? Okay, thank God. I thought it was about to be auto-picked.
I'm just going down the list of running backs, and
yeah,
there's actually no white running.
Daniel Macy said Zach will be next.
Will Shipley. He wasn't even top 3 though. But like
I think Shipley is, if I'm not mistaken,
is he Spanish?
What's the like proper? Yeah, Spanish. I was like, what's the like
Latino?
politically
Latino?
correct way to say that?
Dylan Lobb is white as well, but he was.
Yeah, and I didn't understand the Lobb hype, to be honest. I found it hilarious that his one carry was a fumble. Everyone's like, Dylan Lobb, he's the next guy. One carry fumble. It's like that one time Daniel Elliott, our friend.
Oh my gosh,
was
Trey Sermon.
hyped up on Trey Sermon. He was like, Trey Sermon's the next Le'Veon Bell. And then we were all talking in the chat. And then Trey Sermon gets his first carry. And he runs into someone's ass, gets knocked out on the ground, and fumbles the ball. It was the funniest thing ever. He was like, Trey Sermon season. And then the next second, the guy gets knocked the fuck out by someone's ass, fumbles the ball, and is out for the game. Oh, so funny. So funny.
That was good times. And it was like instant. Like he put it in the chat. Oh, it's Trey Sermon season.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. We all turned it on. I think we all saw it. Done, so.
Hilarious, dude. I haven't laughed that long in a long time. All right, I'm on the clock. We'll take our king here. This is your king? Yeah, this is my king. Actually, holy shit, Michael Pittman.
Yeah, right. I mean, I have.
Oh, wait a damn second here. I mean, at some point, right? I'll take Pittman in the 11th round. I mean, tell me this team isn't competing right away. And tell me this doesn't, like, look at this team, y'all. We've got Nix. We've got Penix. We've got Chuba, Kamara, CeeDee, DJ, Brock, Ayuk, Golden, Pittman. Got Gino on the bench. Y'all better be careful, man. Y'all better be careful.
Be careful.
The Cowboys could use a running back. You know what? Peyton Hillis was the last white guy outside of CMC on the Madden cover, actually.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Peyton Hillis was the definition of a one-year wonder. Dominic Elwood was special.
Yeah, 100%. Great guy. Rashad White.
Rashad White, yeah, I guess. What's up, Steele? He says, would you trade the 204 Calvin Ridley, Marvin Mims, and a third for McMillan in a second?
204 Calvin Mims and a third for Jalen
Mims and a
McMillan.
third doesn't really phase me, so yeah, I would do that.
Yeah,
you can probably counter by keeping your third. Like, I doubt they wouldn't do that deal if you kept your third, but overall, I think I would do that.
I'm actually pumped for an NFL draft, boys.
Yeah.
I think we might be surprised. I think we're going to be surprised of how high some of these players are going to go.
Well, I think running backs, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like, I think we've been all off season, like, oh, this class is not that great. It's never like compared to last year. This is a shit class.
That's just because
This,
last year was so good.
yeah, I think these players are going to go to amazing landing spots. I hope that's the case.
Yeah. Yep. Thoughts on Jackson Dart? He'll be in version 2 of our rookie report, which releases on Monday.
Yeah.
But I'll continue to say what I've said about every quarterback I've scouted in this class. I'm just not that interested in this class as a whole, and Dart is a part of that group. I'm not going to discount him because he ran like the easiest offense possible with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, but you have to think about it. But I think Dart is like the perfect example of a player where there's enough, like there's like 5 traits that there's enough for you to be in for sure. And there's like a way more of enough for you to be questionable of, or skeptic of him as a player as well. I don't think he's anywhere near a first round pick. Maybe he goes second round. People keep saying he's going to be in the first round. I think that would be a mistake, but I've said that about a lot of players in this class, so maybe I'm not the right person to ask.
I think he's gonna be like a top, like a second round pick. I don't think he'll be the guy, but I think like what Zach was saying, just to build off that, there's a lot of players that have really good traits. It just depends if they can build off that. And I think whether it's Cam, Shador, I think all these quarterbacks. Let me rephrase that. Milroe, Cam, Dart, and Shador. Did I say Shador? All have the what if trait.
Yeah.
You know, what if they land in this perfect landing spot? What if they land with the perfect coordinator? And I think that's what everyone is.
What if Cam can not make terrible decisions? Then he has all the physical tools to be a great player.
Yeah. And I think there's enough there with Jackson Dart to say, you know,
he's a great physical player. Like physically, just like God-given stuff, Dart has it. It's just tough, man. I mean, like, for me with Dart, I think the anticipation is really not there for me. I've heard people disagree, so maybe I need to watch more. But I just don't think he has that anticipation throw. Like, he needs a player to be fully open. He doesn't throw them open. Do you know what I mean? That player needs to be fully open, and it kind of makes me feel like he's running a little bit of a cupcake offense. And oftentimes I feel like he limits the outcome of a play because he just waits so long for a play to be open. I don't know that the vision and processing is really where I want it to be. Under pressure, he's okay. The deep ball, I feel like it's like a 50-50 constantly. It doesn't feel like it's... Sure, you can find clips where it's on the money. But a lot of time it's just like this 50-50, like, hey, let's see if my guy goes out and wins. And he had Trey Harris and he had, Juice Wells. I'm going to take my guy Tez Johnson here. That's who I was going to take last round. But, I mean, he underthrows it way too often. He doesn't really ever overthrow it, which is weird because he has decent arm strength. And I think the technique is pretty bad. I mean, he just relies way too much on the arm. There's no lower body. The mechanics are just weird. Like, he's often trying to throw like a 50-yard ball and he's just swinging straight from the arm. There's like no like step through. There's no, the lower body isn't in unison with like the upper body. It's weird, but again, there's a lot of positives about him. I mean, I can say he can make most throws on a Sunday, right? I think he has an ability to extend plays when the pocket breaks down, rolling left or right. There's times where he was good on the run. There's times where he was poor on the run. He's got prototypical size and frame. He valued the football in his career, right? You can say that. He had 6 interceptions this year, 5 the year before. Turnover-worthy play percentage of about 2% in the past 2 years. So he takes care of the ball. He's not really a rushing quarterback, but he contributes as a rusher. I felt like him as a rusher was the same way Baker Mayfield contributed as a rusher for the Bucs. Like, that's what he can offer an NFL team
A hard hitting runner, you're saying?
Say again.
A hard hitting runner, you're saying?
He's very physical. Yeah, I mean he'll
No,
like if you're a linebacker in the open field, he'll put you down. But the analytics are great. He had the #1 yards per attempt. He was third in big time throw percentage. He had the second best PFF passing grade. That's why I say again, like there's so many you can be in and you can be out, and you have every reason to lean either way. I think like his ceiling is like the Eagles version of Carson Wentz, and people hear Carson Wentz and they don't like that. But if you remember, Eagles Carson Wentz, that was an MVP candidate at one point. But he could also just be Gardner Minshew. He could be Will Levis. He could be Blaine Gabbert. I think there's a wide range of outcome, and I don't have a strong pulse on exactly my conviction on him as a player.
Yeah, man. I'm just excited. I'd be okay if he goes to the Giants in the second round. I actually don't care. Change. You know what? Let's draft 3 quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds. Just get them all in there.
I'll grab Rashard Smith here, my favorite sleeper at the running back position. So yeah, it's a range of outcomes for sure. But if my team took Jackson Dart in the first round, would I be happy about it? No. I would not be happy about that. Matt I think he's better than Matt Corral. Was it Corral or Corral? I can't remember how he said his last name, but
Matt Corral.
I think he's better than Matt for sure. Like he has more of the intangibles than Matt had. But yeah, like I don't even know if I'd spend a second round pick on him. That's the tough part. Austin says if I need a quarterback, I'd be looking at next year. I kind of agree with that too. KPB says because Cam has really good timing on those quick throws and accurate on those, it opens up the steam route. Yeah. I also don't think Cam's sideline accuracy is very good though. So if we're talking about, we have to include both areas. I think he's very questionable with his accuracy throwing to the boundaries, which was weird because he definitely has the arm strength, but there's just not the touch on the boundaries yet. Like I'm not sure how confident on 3rd and 11 I would be letting him throw like an out route to the left boundary, But
yeah, okay.
Yeah. But look, I think all these guys, this is the thing. Like, there is no Caleb Williams, there's no Jaden Daniels, there's no Drake May in this class, but there's plenty of guys that you can convince yourself on. But the last time we were in a class like that, where we were trying to convince ourselves on prospects, it didn't go great. I remember people trying to. I remember I've grown so much since we scouted that class, but I remember trying to convince myself on Sam Howell, Matt Corral, like that entire class. Desmond Ridder I hated, but Kenny Pickett. We were trying to convince ourselves on that class. I think this class is definitely better than that one, by far. But if you stack up quarterback classes over the past 7 years, this is probably the second worst. It'd be close.
Yeah, it would be close. Let's see. I guess yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's definitely not Kenny Pickett draft bad.
No, because there's guys were upside. Like there were
like if the Steelers took Cam Ward at 21, it'd be like, okay, that range actually makes sense because you're justifying the risk with the reward. But I mean, we're gonna have guys like Cam and Shador go top 5, and I don't know if those franchises are really going to be happy with the result, and who knows, but
yeah, all those teams, like I think Kenny Pickett had the Steelers written all over him because that was a team that needed a quarterback that year. I don't think anyone needed a quarterback at that time, even the top 10.
Well,
I could be wrong.
If you remember, a lot of people had the Panthers taking Kenny Pickett at 6 overall. Teams needed quarterbacks for sure. I remember that draft. Everyone had the Panthers locked in at quarterback. I think that was the year they brought in Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did they do that year? I don't remember.
Someone drafted Talia Tagovailoa, by the way, which is hilarious. Russell Wilson, that's actually a pretty decent pick this late. All right, what rookies are available here? I like Bond. I think someone that really surprised me second go around. Okay, is Jalen Noel and Higgins available? Okay, Noel's gone. I'll take Higgins. I do like both of these guys. I like Noel a little bit more, but one person I was gonna talk about but didn't because Higgins was still there is Damian Martinez. I think he's also a riser for me, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's my RB11 in this new cycle. He was RB16. So Damian Rose. I actually think Damian's like discount Cam Scatterboo in this class. Anyway, that is the startup, and we had a lot of fun with you guys, but we are going to transition the stream. The first part of today's stream was dedicated towards the startup. The second part of today's stream, we're going to review someone's dynasty team. Right now, we only have one team. Like it shows two, but one of those is an offline team. So we'll wait to hear from Slinger if that's what he wants to do, offline or not. But we have 2 slots open. All right. So the first 2 people that sign up for a team review, we can review your team live today if you'd like. No pressure, but the way to get your team reviewed, you can either become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. You get our rookie report. Version 2 comes out on Monday. You get the Dynasty Playbook, right, which is completely customized to your team. Specific trade recommendations, what to do with your draft capital, etc. But you also get the free trade question voucher. You unlock our rankings, all the premium tools and databases on the website. And then if you purchase anything in the future, you get a discount on it on the Flock store as a member. The other option is if you don't want to become a member, you can purchase a team review through the Flock Fantasy website. I'll put that link in the chat for you now. That's the a la carte link. You go team review. If you haven't linked up your league yet, you can do that here. ESPN Sleeper or Yahoo. And if you're on a different platform, you can submit screenshots. But if you link up on Sleeper, it'll import your settings automatically. Choose your team. Make sure your draft picks are correct. And then if you want the offline version, stay here. Some people prefer offline because they don't want their league to see the review. If you want the online version and you want a live review with it, it's just $10 more to prioritize yourself. But those are the 2 ways you get your team review. Again, we have 2 slots open on today's stream. 2 teams that could be reviewed straight away. No pressure at all. So yeah, completely up to you guys. But okay, let's have a look at Duke 98. Yeah, Duke 98. I was like, am I saying that right? Yes, I am saying that right. Let's see here.
Duke 98.
Duke 98. And I'm just going to see if we had a message from Phraselinger, because we did message Phraselinger on the Flock site. But we haven't heard back from him just yet. He bought an offline review. Just want to make sure that's what he's looking for. All right. Let's look at Duke's team.
Yeah, let's have a look. We appreciate you, brother, and thank you for all the support. It is a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8. And this is, 1 quarterback.
That's some meat and potatoes lineup.
Yeah, it's just your standard 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end format here, and 2 flex spots. So nothing too crazy. Let's have a look at this team. His team name is Brock That Ho. You love to see it. And you are ranked 4th out of 12 according to Zach's rankings here. So let's have a look at this team. At the quarterback position, Trevor Lawrence, Malik Willis, Gardner Minshew. Excuse me.
Yikes.
Let me read the context first. That's what I missed. He said, got this team in 2022. Been trying to get out of the dark ages, looking to move Jonnu, Dobbs, and Watson. I have shopped the 101 around for guys like Neighbors, Chase, and St. Brown. Okay.
My friend. This team is...
How you rank 4th because of the 101
capital. Look at all the picks in 26, right?
Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. with 1, 2,
And maybe
3,
he could have picks
4.
at 27 that we don't see either.
Okay, so let's just go through this really quick. Trevor Lawrence, Malik Willis, no quarterbacks. At the running back position, you have absolutely no one worth starting besides Isaac Horrendo if CMC goes down again. The wide receiver position, all you have is T. Higgins. The rest, who? And then Brock Bowers. You have the 101, you have the 201, and the 211. So you do have some draft capital. I mean, this is the definition of a full rebuild.
This is one of the worst teams we've seen in a while. And if you come to us for a review, you're going to get honesty. Hopefully that's okay. Because we want you to get a better team. We want to help you create a better team, build a better team, and honesty is an important part of that step. So let's be honest, this team's not very good. It's not a very good team. And like Badaki said, if we look at our pathways, you're definitely full rebuild, my friend. You're definitely full rebuild. I don't think a one-year punt's going to fix this. Maybe next year you can be in a one-year punt when you have those 5 or 6 draft picks that you have in the first round. But still got a ways to go here, brother. But I mean, what is the starting lineup right now? Let's think about it. It's a small league, but is it Lawrence, Horrendo, Davis, Higgins, Tillman, Bowers? I don't know who else you flex. We're in a rough spot. If you remove the draft capital, this is probably a D- F range team. If you add the draft capital, you're probably...
I would say this is a D plus team. D plus to C minus because of the draft capital.
The only reason that it's not in the C's is because we don't know for sure if that draft capital is going to translate to actually a good team, right? We don't know that for sure. So, yeah, I'm going to lean D plus with you. I definitely think it's a full rebuild. You only have one untouchable, which is Brock Bowers, and I guess you could put the 101 on the graphic.
I put future picks there. So,
as far as your holds, I think Horrendo's a great hold.
Let's give him 4 here, if we can.
Okay.
If not, we can do 2 holds and then 4 drops. Let's do 4. Let's do 2 holds and 4 drops. How about that?
I was gonna say I like Isaac Horrendo as a hold. Outside of that, it's a super flex league, so I'm not gonna say Malik Willis, but I would say probably Tillman, considering his injury was weird and he was playing well. But he says been trying to get out of the dark ages. I think you're still in the dark ages, but you're on the right path with all the draft capital you have in the future. Like, the worst thing you want to do as a rebuilder is have like a half decent team and then your pick every year is like the 106. So you're definitely gonna have the 101 next year. As far as drops, I mean, how much time do you have? Brownlee, Naylor, Little Jordan Humphrey, David Moore, Tyler Johnson, Hassan Haskins, Pierre Strong, Amari DiMarcado, Jelani Woods, probably Greg Dulcich at this point, unfortunately. In a 1-quarterback league, I'm shocked that Desmond Ridder is rostered. I'm shocked that Aiden O'Connell's rostered and Gardner Minshew. You can drop at least Desmond Ridder. So yeah, the list is very, very long. But we do have some capital to work with this year. I'm not going to lie. I wish we had a little bit more considering how depleted this team is of any assets. So obviously if you stuck in picked, it's Ashton Genty. That's who you would take there at the 101. And then at the 201, you'd have plenty of options. It's a 1-quarterback league. So it's like whoever's left over from all these names, like Judkins, Buka, Loveland, Warren, Golden, Royals. Like one of those names probably. Then when you come back at the 211, you got... Ideally, you choose one of these running backs.
Yeah.
With this team, I think you definitely someone that could probably trade the 101 for a haul.
I agree. I like the idea since I've shopped the 101 around for guys like Neighbors, Chase,
I don't
and
think
St.
that's the
Brown.
right route with this guy.
No, I get what you're saying. I guess I was saying I like the idea of getting like the Neighbors to Brock Bowers, but like you don't necessarily have to. I think if anything, you want to get more draft capital. You can trade back into the first rounds or in 2027, get some picks because we know that class. I think we've been saying to get a lot of 2027 draft capital because that class is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, like look, of course, if you can turn the 101 into Malik Neighbors, if you can turn the 101, into, if you get some plus for Brian Thomas, that would be awesome. I don't know if that's possible. If you can turn the 101, I mean, would you really want to go get Jamar Chase with this team and wait 2 more years to compete? I think I'd rather, like, if I'm going to trade the pick, I would rather get a Neighbors or a Thomas or Holt.
The only way I would get Jamar Chase, like if somebody wants to give me Jamar Chase traded for the 101, I'll do that because I think I can get more value than the 101.
Sure.
Like, that's the only way, but I doubt that is possible.
I doubt that's possible, too. Who has Brian Thomas? Let's see. Do they have a need at running back? I doubt they're going to want to part with Brian Thomas, and no, they really don't. I would be shocked if they moved on from Brian Thomas. Anyway, look, I doubt any of these are possible, but of course you could do them. If I had the pick, I'd rather trade it for a haul. And we've talked about this before. It's like somewhere in the range of like a 105, and two future firsts, plus a player like a Tyrone Tracy level player. That's the kind of the kind of haul that I'd like to get. I don't think it really is going to make a big impact for us to go out and turn the 101 into one player. But of course, you have a bunch of firsts in 26, so I can see the guide. But again, I don't think you can get Neighbors or Thomas or Chase for the 101. I don't think it's possible. He says to move Brian or Neighbors, I need the 101. Yeah, that's what we've been trying to say. Yeah, we've been saying that you would probably need to add a plus. It's probably not possible. So ideally, as a full rebuild, I think you'd want to turn the 101 into a haul, right? Something in this class, plus two future firsts, and like a Tyrone Tracy level player, right? You need to get some true haul. Keeping in mind, guys, that this is a 1 quarterback start 8. So it's a smaller roster. Like we said earlier, it's a meat and potatoes lineup. So guys like Ashton Jeanty need to get you an even bigger premium. In a 12-team start 10, maybe you were happy with 3 first-round picks value. Here you need to get 4 first-round picks value. Because, again, the starting lineup is so important. The depth does not matter as much. So if you're going to turn the 101 Ashton Jeanty into the 105 and 2 late firsts, that's not going to be enough. That's not going to work for your rebuild. It's not going to make sense for your rebuild, right? So, I'd love to find the team that has a 105 and see what they're kind of working with here. Well, how about we start with Like a Good Neighbors? They have 103, 104, and the 106. Holy crap, they have a lot of picks. So, for example, can you turn the 101 into the 104 and the 106 and
London?
That might be asking too much, but I was more thinking like they're first in 26 because their team isn't that good.
Sure.
And then
what about like a lower tier? What about like a JJ or something?
And a JJ McCarthy, yeah, I think like that's a good start.
Yeah,
that's a good start. I mean, I think I might even try and ask for like the 204 in this deal again because of how important your starting lineup is to consider here. The start 8. I don't think this is an unreasonable offer for the 101. But of course, someone like you who has literally nobody, you'd be happy with a deal like that, right? Because you can't be picky about names. You need to just get the most value for the future. Doesn't mean you have to use all those picks you have, but it just gives you flexibility in the future.
Yeah.
The 105 is Dylan Panthers. He currently has Bijan. I think he'd be ecstatic to add Ashton Jeanty, but keep in mind, if you give him Ashton Jeanty, you really don't want his future picks because he's going to be a good team already. So this would be like a 105 Garrett Wilson. That's like the foundation. We need to add on to it, but it's like it'd be like 105 plus Garrett Wilson plus
I
I'd
mean,
probably lean like Ayuk, Brooks, maybe. What do you think?
Brooks, like Jonathan Brooks?
Yeah, as the throw-in, basically.
Yeah, the throw-in. Yeah, sure. Brandon Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, Brooks.
You can
I
go
think I would. I think I would try like. I think maybe I'll take Ayuk and Brooks out, and then just ask for like a 27 first. But this team is pretty good, though. He's going to be
That's the
competing.
problem. His first isn't
It's going to be a later one.
that valuable.
Okay, we can rock with that.
You can also do that for JSN. It's another option for you. But ideally, that's the kind of trade down I'd like to get. Or if you want to go strictly 2027 picks, you could go like, I'm trying to think of like a level of player here, like a young player who's not established as much. Like, let me see, like an Xavier Worthy. Like a Worthy Downs Keon. And then you also want 3 27 firsts. Right?
Yeah.
One of these names and 3 27 firsts. So do not sell the 101 unless you get a ridiculous haul. If no one's willing to give you that haul, you don't sell the 101. You're in a start 8. So if you can't trade it for a haul, keep Ashton Genty. And then in 2026, you have 6 more picks to build around this team. Just do not sell the 101 at a discount. That would be the worst move you could possibly do with this roster. Do not sell at a discount. You will massively regret it if you do.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you have some good firsts in 26 where you might have a top tier first. So you have Average Joe, who is currently ranked 8th. You also have Jake Football in 26, who's ranked 10th. You have Keon Cookies, who's ranked 12th. You have some good first round picks in 2026.
Yeah.
As well. I think another thing he did ask, it says looking to move Jonnu, Romeo, and Watson. And one thing I'll say with that is that's going to be very difficult.
No one's
to sell.
looking to buy, man, especially in your league.
The only person that you could potentially sell in season is Jonnu Smith if they don't draft a tight end. Because, you know, obviously we kind of been talking all off season that how he kind of finished the year, how he was a big part of this offense, especially if Tyreek Hill moves on. You could potentially sneak any second in 20 and in any year really for Jonnu Smith, but the rest I'm not sure what you can get. Watson just tore his ACL late in the season. You're gonna get nothing for him.
Romeo Doubs wasn't worth a first round, wasn't worth a second round pick already this year. He comes out, has a mediocre year. He's not worth a second now. I mean, if you can combine Doubs and Watson to get a second in any year, I think you'd be cheering. But the reality is, in your league, start 8, small starting lineups. Depth does not matter very much. Nobody wants Doubs and Watson in a normal league. Add on to the fact that your league is very small, it's going to be impossible to get anything worthwhile value. But you're right, Jonnu Smith in season, you might be able to get a second for him. Yeah, there's no other real, like, you just can't really, you don't have any names that people want to buy. Let's be honest.
No.
You can move T. Higgins after he signs a contract. That's the only other thing I could think of. Like, if you don't think T. Higgins fits your plan, can you sell him for 2 future firsts? Once he signs deal. And obviously I would say, like, make sure those firsts won't both be late, right? Because then you're not really getting any value out of the trade.
Those values, yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
look, the only other route that I would say, even though I don't think we should, is selling Brock Bowers. Obviously, he's a rookie. You can sell him. I think that's probably the last thing you should do.
I wouldn't sell Brock personally.
But I'm saying I wouldn't sell him. Like, if you really wanted to rebuild and just sell everyone that you possibly can, you could sell Brock Bowers. But as you can see on the graphic, he's untouchable, meaning that we highly recommend that you don't sell him because how value he is after his rookie year and
I
how
think if
he's
this
going to
team
be
was in a
perceived the next
position where
couple of years.
they didn't have all the future draft capital, we might be able to go down that route. But because they already have the future draft capital, at some point you have to build around something, right?
Yeah,
I think Brock
100%.
is like that perfect piece to build around. But I think that's really the move for this team. Like, let's be honest, about 90% of your team, no one has an interest in trading for. Seriously. Let's be realistic here. No one has an interest in trading for any of your running backs. Maybe Isaac or Endo. Nobody wants your quarterbacks and one quarterback. Outside of Higgins, nobody wants any of your wide receivers. And outside of Bowers and maybe Jonnu, no one wants your tight ends. So you got to be realistic with that. You have to be okay with that.
100%.
And
I think you sell anyone that pops off in season. I highly doubt. Like I said, Cedric Hilton picks up where he left off. Sell him. Sell him for a second.
Yeah.
You know.
I like the idea of this Ayuk trade. Sorry, the Wilson or JSN trade. I like the idea of the 104 and the 106.
Yep. I like that one.
And if you can sell T. Higgins for 2 future firsts once he signs, I think you're in a good spot too. But yeah
hopefully that helps.
the number one piece of advice I can give you is do not sell the 101 at a discount. Don't meet someone's demands. Don't have them send you a counter where you don't feel good about, and you're like, oh, I feel like I have to do something. No, you can add Ashton Genty to this team. It's fine. You're still gonna get the 101 next year. You know what I mean? That's how bad this team is.
And you can potentially sell Ashton Genty in season when he's going off if you really wanted to, because people be like, okay, this guy's legit. Some people have reservations, but we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. You will be receiving your customized playbook with all the information for your team within 48 to 72 hours. Untouchables, holds, drops, the whole 9 yards with the chalkboard. We really appreciate you and your service, man.
Yes, sir. That is it for today, guys. We do appreciate you guys big time. Fry Slinger, if you're watching this now or later, we did send you a message over on the Flock site. You currently have an offline review. We're just trying to confirm that you do want the offline version. But that is it for today, guys. We appreciate you big time. If you're looking to get a team review, now is the time to do it. The queue is very, very low. It's kind of a lull in the season right now. When it gets to March and April, those reviews will be piled up. So it's a great time to get it in. But we do appreciate y'all for being here. All love, and we'll see you tomorrow with a rookie draft. See you then.
Love.